What's good, my people? How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. I'm finally bringing you some updated predictions after skipping October for Oscar predictions. Basically, I just wanted to get a gauge of what was going on in award season, and I felt like if I did a video in October, it would have been too similar to the September one. But now I have a better grasp of what's happening. I've seen most of these movies. I've seen, the movies I saw at TIFF, and there's a lot of releases that have been coming out in my local area recently. So I have a good grasp on everything. There's reactions for some other movies that are coming out soon. And I guess the only real enigma yet is Babylon and Avatar The Way of the Water, which people haven't seen yet. But, I'm going to give you my best, most educated thoughts on what's going on this award season. Keep in mind, these are my predictions. So this is what I think the Academy will do, and I'm trying to keep my personal bias out of it as much as possible. But when it comes to movies that, there's a lot of movies that are kind of on the line for nominations. I tend to lean towards movies that I prefer, that I have seen and I think are better movies or deserve the nominations more. So keep that in mind when I'm talking through these. So with that in mind, let's go through Best Picture. And I've changed this up since last time because, obviously I haven't seen Babylon, nobody has. So I'm going to hold off until people have reactions for it. I still think it's a very strong pick, but I am going to change my number one to Everything Everywhere All at Once. The reason why I'm doing this is because it just has so much passion behind it. And recently I've seen that passion kind of grow. It's been getting a lot of nominations for, some minor awards because some indie awards are happening right now. So we got some Gotham Award nominations. The actors obviously are a huge part of the package here because Michelle Yeoh and Ki Huy Kwan seem like locks for nominations. So it just seems like it has a nice, neat package going on. There's a lot of passion behind it. It's the kind of movie that Academy voters will feel good voting for because it's kind of a different Best Picture nominee. So yeah, I'm going on the Everything Everywhere All at Once bandwagon that people have been hopping onto. I love that movie, so I feel good saying it's my number one. At number two, I have Fablemans. I've seen the Fablemans, and I think it's definitely a very baity movie. And I have it at number two because people seem to think it's kind of a front runner. It won the TIFF People's Choice Award, and I do think it's a strong movie in many regards. But thinking about this movie's package, I don't see it being as substantial as some of the others. So it really places some doubt in my head. I don't know if it's gonna win like a lot of things. I can see it winning maybe director, maybe screenplay, maybe lead actress, but it's honestly kind of a stretch. So yeah, The Fableman's at number two just because it's a sentimental Spielberg movie, but I'm not too sure about this one yet. Then Babylon at number three. I've had this at number one for a while now, and I think it's still a very strong choice. The reason why I lowered it down is because people seem to be undermining it, like not thinking about it as much. And I think that's a mistake because this is probably going to be a great movie just based on like the early rough test screening reactions that were happening and the fact that Damien Chazelle has never made a bad movie. So I love Damien Chazelle. Obviously, if you've seen my channel, you probably know this. And I want to see this get nominated. I want to see it do well. But for now, it's my number three. And, again, very solid movie. I think my top 6 or 7 are like pretty strong. Number four, Tar. I saw this recently, like a couple weeks ago, and I loved it. I thought it was an excellent movie. Definitely one of the best of the year. And it has a pretty decent package, especially with a leading actress who is a frontrunner to win. So yeah, Tar number four. The Banshees of Inisherin at number five, which is another movie I saw recently, and another movie I liked a lot. I think again, a lot of things are going for this movie. Its screenplay is very strong. Its acting nominations are pretty secure. I mean, just this movie is kind of the whole package for a Best Picture nominee, and yeah, I just think it's a very strong movie. And you can move these like top five around. I think there's leeway for any of these to be like higher up. Number six, I have my international pick, and I switched this around from last time. I had All Quiet going in before, and I still think All Quiet is a brilliant movie that I really really liked. But after seeing Decision to Leave, I was like, how is the Academy gonna ignore this? It's just like masterful. Like if these people are admirers of like film, like a picture, like a motion picture cinema, in Harry Styles' word, it feels like a movie. It feels like a real movie. And this is just, brilliant editing, brilliant cinematography, brilliant score, acting, just like everything about this movie just blew me away. So yeah, that's why I have it at number 6. At number 7, I have Women Talking. I think this one has died down a little bit since its premiere at TIFF. Obviously, it hasn't released in theaters yet. It's not a movie that I personally loved in my first viewing, although I'm looking forward to seeing it again. But it does have like a lot of very like ardent supporters, so I think it has a strong chance of getting in. I think it's getting in no matter what, almost. But yeah, I don't see it competing quite with these top picks, so that's why I have it at number 7. Top Gun Maverick at number 8. I know this is going to be a Best Picture nominee just because of the box office success. Like, it's kind of cementing its place as the crowd pleasing movie that gets in, and it totally deserves it. I think it's one of the best blockbusters that Hollywood has produced in quite a while. Really like the movie, and I mean, what else is to be said? It's great. Tom Cruise is in it. It's a lot of action, a lot of planes. Great. At number 9, I have After Sun, and I'm bringing this back in from my very early predictions because I have seen After Sun. Not only have I seen After Sun, but I have seen people's reactions to it, and I have seen it get nominated for many awards like Gotham and BIFA. So I think this one is going to be carried through from the critics. Like, the critics are just going to push this movie. It's the highest rated movie of the year with like a 95 on Metacritic. It has like a 9.0 rating on like Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it's just like top tier stuff. Like, this might be the best movie of the year. And if the Academy has any like self respect, they will nominate this like indie darling to a Best Picture. Please let it happen. And at number 10, running out my picks, I have Pinocchio. This is the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, by the way, not the Zemeckis movie. Yeah, this movie had its premiere in North America a couple days ago, and it's kind of blown up. Like, people seem to really, really love it. I mean, when it premiered at the London Film Festival, it was kind of huge. But even especially now, like, having more people have seen it, the reactions are equally as strong. It's sitting at like a 90 plus on Metacritic. It's gonna be the animated picture winner, like, almost no matter what at this point. And we've seen this happen before with animated movies getting into Best Picture. And I would love to see animation be represented here because it's a medium that gets disrespected a lot. And I think I would just love to see this being regarded as the art that it is. So Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro, rounding up my top 10. And then right outside, I have some picks that I really, really like, honestly. And I think they're all deserving movies in some way. I love The Whale. I think The Whale is an excellent movie. I'm just a little bit scared of the marketing, the non existent marketing for it. A24 has been really hesitant to put out a trailer or any sort of marketing materials for it. And it has some mixed reviews. So I don't know. Like, at this point, there's so many strong picks that I think The Whale just about misses out, in my opinion. Then we have All Quiet on the Western Front, which I really love. Again, an excellent movie, and this could totally get in. I think it's one of those that's like sitting right on the edge. I just think Decision to Leave is probably, having seen both movies, the stronger international pick in my opinion. But I mean, it could go either way. It could really go either way, and I've switched this around, so I don't really know at this point. I'm just thinking Decision to Leave gets in over All Quiet. Then we got Avatar 2, Glass Onion, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So, 3 sequels. People have been talking about the amount of like great sequels that are poised for the award season this year. How many can get in? There's a chance that 2 or 3 get in. We'll see. I think the Avatar trailer came out recently and it looks pretty good. Black Panther has gotten great reactions, but again, these are all like sequels. And I've seen Glass Onion and it's great, but they're all sequels, and that might hurt their chances, especially considering that Top Gun Maverick has already kind of cemented itself as like the top tier sequel to beat. I don't know. Like, I don't know if like many of these get in. I think they'll make room for the original movies instead, like the non sequels. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I wouldn't be upset if any of these got in. For director, I am keeping Damien Chazelle at number 1, and I'm doing it because I just want people to look at the trailer. Just look at the trailer and tell me it's not like the most directory movie out of the lineup. Damien Chazelle has proven himself to be maybe the best young director out there. I think his track record speaks for itself. And he, with Babylon, I'm hoping will continue hitting his stride and just making top tier movies. So I'm having it at number one, which could really be interchangeable with Spielberg at number two, because I do think that there's a decent chance Spielberg gets the director award just because it's a personal story. It might be considered like a lifetime achievement kind of award for him. And if the Fablemans doesn't have a strong package, if it's not getting anything else, if they're spreading the love, they might give Spielberg this award to kind of spread the love around for other nominations. So yeah, Spielberg at number two. I think these top two are pretty strong. At number three, I have Park Chan Wook, and I have this because I think this is. I mean, I'm still yet to see Babylon. It's definitely the best directed movie I've seen so far this year. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. I feel like I was just like, I don't know, like I was just a puppet in the movie, and he was like taking me where he wanted me to go. Like I just felt like so in Decision to Leave's ride, and I thought the direction, like all the choices, the framing, like the editing, just everything about it was so masterful that the Academy, like, please, like, don't ignore this. Like, don't ignore this, like, top tier filmmaker, a legendary Korean filmmaker in one of his best movies. I mean, just please don't do that. Park Chan Wook should get in, and I have him number three. Then I have Todd Field, who I think is a very strong pick here, and I think it's almost a lock at this point because Tar is just like a critic's darling. It's a very impressive movie from a directorial standpoint. It's very subtle, but it's also very like masterful, and I think the branch will just eat it up. So I think Tar, like, it has to happen in my eyes. And then Sarah Polley for Women Talking. I've seen this banded around. Women Talking is a Best Picture nominee, most likely, and she's an excellent director. The movie is a little bit more contained in scale, but obviously, like, I think her achievement won't be ignored. She's gotten some awards already from like the festival circuit, and yeah, I just think, and also, it'd be a shame not to see a woman represented in the director slot, especially with women missing out so often in like the previous decade. So yeah, I think Sarah probably gets in. It probably would be deserved, even though the movie wasn't my favorite. But yeah, that's my number five. Then Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, who again I think that movie is amazing and really really well directed, and I would totally love to see this as well. The Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, they killed it with the movie. Ambitious, crazy, bombastic, and I don't think anybody else could have pulled that off. And it might be considered more of a screenplay movie just based on the wackiness of it all. It's not really like the most like aesthetically pleasing movie to watch necessarily, but it's just like everything everywhere. Like yeah, they're great. Like everybody would love to see this, I think. James Cameron at number eight. Avatar Way of the Water looks like, again, a very James Cameron esque blockbuster that's huge in scale and looks amazing. But again, it's a sequel, so he's right outside for me. Although you can never underestimate him, as people say, so keep an eye on James Cameron. Then I have Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin. I think this movie is like very, very well directed. It's a little bit more subtle. It's less ambitious, but it's purposeful because I don't think being crazy with the camera services the story. I think there's a chance he gets in. I think there's a decent chance, but because of the other picks and how strong those movies are directorially, I think he just misses out. And Aronofsky at number 10, I just haven't rounding out my picks. I think The Whale is well directed. It might not be as well received though, and it's also contained space, so it's right outside for me as well. Moving on to Best Actor, and again, I'm gonna reiterate what I've been saying for the past like 2 months since I saw Brendan Fraser's performance. Brendan Fraser will win the Academy Award for Best Actor. Like, I have no doubt in my mind this is happening. Even if The Whale doesn't get nominated for Best Picture, even if it gets like zero other nominations, which I think it'll get more nominations, obviously, Brendan Fraser will win because he's just outstanding in that movie, and it's just the kind of performance that wins with like huge moments and like a huge moment at the end. It's a winning performance, and it's gonna be one of the best winners in my memory, honestly. Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, he's awesome. I love him as an actor. I think he's had a brilliant year, and the Academy really, really needs to nominate him after like his renaissance, really over the last decade. He is an extremely talented guy who's going to keep producing top tier work. So get that nomination. Austin Butler for Elvis is, I guess, the other top three contender. He is amazing. He really embodied Elvis in the movie. His performance is stuck in my mind, even though the movie came out a while ago. Easy, no brainer. Diego Calva for Babylon. He's going to be the lead of the movie. It's now been confirmed after an FYC debacle from the Paramount page. And yeah, I mean, his Hispanic actor in Babylon, which is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, probably. And I just don't see him missing out, considering that the lineup is decently weak for actor. And the reason why I have Paul Mescal here at number 5, not only, I mean, okay, let me rephrase this. I have him in because he is excellent in the movie and he totally deserves to be nominated. And he is just like one of the best actors working, I think. So subtle and so powerful in everything he does. He doesn't like overact. He's just like pitch perfect in After Sun. And I think, again, totally deserving. But the lineup is a little bit weaker, so it'll allow him a performance in a smaller movie to potentially get in. And I would love to see this happen. Like, please let this happen. At number 6, I have Park Hae-il in Decision to Leave. And I was honestly kind of blown away by him in the movie and by Tang Wei as well. It just immaculate performances from both of them. I was captivated in the performances. I would love to see this happen. Tom Cruise at number 7. Top Gun Maverick obviously is big, and there's not a lot happening in actor right now. So Tom Cruise, because he had a strong performance in a very strong movie, I think has a decent chance. Hugh Jackman in The Sun, I think, is kind of the saving grace of The Sun in some ways for me. He is really the standout of the movie, in my opinion. And I would nominate him, but I think because it's gotten some mixed reception, it might be a little bit iffy. So he's right outside. Bill Nye as well for Living. It's, one of those things that will not get nominated for anything else, but it might just be like a Bill Nye vehicle. I don't really see it that much because it seems like it has a very niche, specific audience, and not everybody is like the biggest fan of that kind of movie. But yeah, I have him in at number 9. And then Jeremy Pope for The Inspection. Again, this is probably going to be the only nomination, potentially. I have an outside, but potentially for The Inspection because he kind of carries the movie on his shoulders, according to people who've seen it. So, yeah, I mean, Jeremy Pope, and that runs on my list. For actress, I have Kate Blanchett at number 1. I've seen the performances that are contending for a win, barring Margot Robbie, which obviously nobody's seen. But I've seen, Detweiler, I've seen Blanchett, obviously, I've seen Yo, and I've seen Williams. And in my opinion, Blanchett, has the most to do and is just like overall the best of the bunch. Again, in my opinion. And not only that, but I think the Academy will just recognize that the range of the performance that she's giving. I'm gonna talk through all of these kind of like in a bucket here. Michelle Yeoh obviously has to do a lot in her movie as well, especially with like the action component and the comedy of Everything Everywhere. I just don't know if she has as much time for like quiet moments as Kate Blanchett does. Kate Blanchett gets to express a lot in like very subtle moments that the Academy might buy into. And that Daniel Detweiler, in her movie, she gets to obviously show a lot of emotion. She has some very impactful crying scenes, and she's obviously great in the movie. But I don't think the movie serves her as well as Tar serves Kate Blanchett. I think it's mostly a question of the movie here because all of these performances are really great, and I just think Blanchett and Tar are like, kind of in sync all the way through. Whereas Till has some issues, in my opinion, and Daniel Day-Weiler just elevates the movie, whereas Kate Blanchett just like is on par with like an amazing Tar. And then Michelle Williams, I think the placement for lead is a little bit iffy. Obviously, people have talked about this, and she's not my favorite performance of the year. Honestly, I think she's good, but she's not like she didn't really blow me away because it was a little bit over the top, and I understand Spielberg's mom was over the top, and that's kind of what the movie was going for. I just didn't connect to it as much, and I think voters seeing that movie aren't gonna give her the award, in my opinion, for Best Actress. Like I think the field is so strong that she'll get nominated probably, but she most likely won't win. Tang Wei, I already talked about this from Decision to Leave. She's amazing. She is like mesmerizing, like the best femme fatale I've seen in years, and like a masterpiece of a movie. So of course I'm gonna have her like right outside my picks. Naomi acting for I Want to Dance with Somebody. Another one people haven't seen. This is from the same writer as Bohemian Rhapsody and Two Popes. Somebody who always gets people nominated. So I'm keeping my eye on this one, and she seems like a strong performer. So I don't see why not. Olivia Colman at number 8. She's really dropped down my rankings, and not by virtue of her performance, because I think she is like kind of like the best thing about Empire of Light, but just because the movie she's in just has really like died. It's just nowhere. It's just nowhere to be seen. Obviously, it doesn't release for a while, but like nobody's talking about this movie from the awards, like from the film festival circuit. It's just kind of disappeared, and it's gotten like pretty bad reviews. So yeah, I don't see this happening. But it's Olivia Colman, so never rule it out, I guess. Mia Goth is one that I really want to see, and I'm being just realistic here because the Academy never recognizes horror movies, and I think she's one of the best performances of the year. I would put her on par with like Kate Blanchett and Daniel Deadweiler. I think she's that good, and she should totally get nominated. I just don't know yet, and I don't think it will happen. But I wanted to give her like a little bit of a shout out, so that's why she's my number 9. And at number 10, I have Viola Davis, who's, obviously great, consistently great as always, and The Woman King. And, her nomination would not be a mistake. Obviously, she's awesome in the movie. I just think because the field is so strong, it's gonna be hard for her to get in, but never rule it out. Okay, supporting actor, and at number 1, I have Ki Hui Kwan. I personally think that this is like one of the biggest locks as nomination. Well, definitely as nomination goes, it's like an absolute lock. And for wins, I think this is pretty much a lock too. Like, I think if Everything Everywhere doesn't win Best Picture, this is gonna be like its consolation prize. And if it does win picture, it will come with a package. Like, I think Ike Kwan is very, very strong, and it's gonna happen in my opinion. So hopefully it does. And I'm feeling really strongly about it. So number 2, Barry Keoghan. I think he is a standout supporting actor from Benji the Venezuelan. He has more to do than Brendan Gleeson, and he just kind of makes the movie work. And he's just kind of magnetic on screen and just like does his role absolutely pitch perfectly. So I think this is gonna happen. I think there's gonna be double noms for Banshees with Brendan Gleeson, and I also think that Ben Whishaw is gonna get in for Women Talking. Probably the standout of the movie for me. He was excellent, and he deserves to get in. So yeah, that's 4 there. And then Judd Hirsch, for the Fablements, I think he has the standout kind of moment in the Fablements. And in my opinion, he will get in over Paul Dano. Just because Paul Dano, like, even though he has more screen time, he doesn't have too much to do. Like, his persona is very muted, like his character is very muted, and it just doesn't give him a lot. So Judd Hirsch. Brad Pitt, let me talk about him briefly. I think there's still a chance he might get in, but there's a lot of stuff going around about his reputation. I don't know too much about what's happening, but it has to do with Angelina Jolie and some allegations that have been made about his behavior. So maybe he doesn't get in, but yeah, I just haven't been around for those reasons. And then my bottom 3, I have Brian Tyree Henry, which I think is a super strong performance, and I think should be nominated. And in my opinion, like if I were to pick the winner, it'd be between him and Ki Hui Kwan. Just excellent, just excellent. He carries Causeway. The problem is that he's in a small movie that isn't gonna be like a darling or anything. It's like a pretty solid movie in my opinion, and yeah, I don't know if it's gonna make a big splash at the Oscars, but keep an eye on him. And then we got obviously 2 Triangle of Sadness boys, like Berg and Woody Harrelson, which would be great to see. Supporting actress, and at number 1, I got Carrie Condon. And my reasoning for it is because I think Banshees is a top tier contender, and it won't win actor, in my opinion. It won't win picture, it won't win screenplay. So I think Carrie Condon as like the consolation prize makes a lot of sense, especially because she is, I think, in my opinion, the strongest supporting actress. So yeah, I mean, it's a no brainer for me. Hong Chao at number 2. She is also amazing in The Whale, and alongside Brendan Fraser, they kind of steal the show. I like Sadie Sink a lot too, but I've seen that she's dropped kind of down in people's consideration. So I think Hong Chao is standing strong as a top 5 nominee. Jessie Buckley, for We've Been Talking, she seems like the default representative considering she's been kind of nominated before and is kind of a popular pick right now. Then we got Stephanie Sue for Everything Everywhere. When Everything Everywhere starts winning awards again, I think she'll kind of rise up with the momentum the movie has and she'll probably get in. Nina Haas is my number 5 for Tar. She has a quieter performance, but I think it's very effective and it's really important to the story and Kate Blanchett's kind of character. So yeah, I mean Nina Haas was excellent in Tar, and I would totally see that happening. And I'm putting a Babylon pick at number 6, Jean Smart. She looks amazing in the trailer, and she's obviously won a couple Emmys recently. She is a beloved figure. People would feel really good voting for her, and if she has a decent like chunk of screen time in Babylon and she's great, like totally see this happening. Then we got Claire Foy, another women talking person who is pretty strong. Janelle Monáe, who is very good in Glass Onion. I think she's sitting right outside the top. Dolly DeLeon for Triangle of Sadness. Again, probably the standout of Triangle of Sadness in my opinion. But I think the movie's just kind of died down a little bit. And then I got Angela Bassett for Black Panther, who I think has a decent chance of getting in. I think Black Panther, because of being a sequel, like, and because of being a superhero movie, maybe the acting noms aren't happening, but never count her out. She's a great actress, and she delivers a great performance according to people who've seen the movie. So keeping her in my 10 right now. Cinematography. Okay, I'm gonna start running through these quickly now because I think kind of going a little bit over with how much I'm talking. Babylon number 1. If you've seen the trailer, shit looks amazing and it just looks so impressive, and the color palette just like beautiful. The Decision to Leave has some of the most gorgeous cinematography I've seen in recent times. Just stunning. The movie is just stunningly shot. I mean, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna riot because it's such a beautiful movie. It'd be an absolute disgrace. Avatar 2. I think this one's really strong actually because I don't know what the status exactly, but the original Avatar obviously won cinematography, and this one looks even more beautiful. So it has a very strong case. The Fablemans, it's Spielberg. It's some backlighting. It seems like an easy nom, even though I think some of the other ones might be slightly stronger, but it seems like a very strong nom either way. All Quiet on the Western Front, amazing, beautiful cinematography with a really cold and effective color palette. It just really worked for me. Highlighted the tone of the movie as it should, and should get it in my opinion. Bardo looks really impressive, and it's just right outside because the movie itself isn't as big because it got some mixed reviews. The Batman, I feel really bad putting this outside my picks because I love the Batman so much, and I think it totally deserves to get in. I just don't think it's happening anymore because the Academy has very short memories, and it's a superhero movie. The Banshees of Inisherin has beautiful cinematography, stunning landscapes, really captures the essence and the tone of the movie. Top Gun Maverick is, innovative cinematography with cameras on planes. It looks stunning. It's really effective and it's great and it totally deserves consideration. And then After Sun is some of the most like picturesque, just kind of like dreamy, beautiful cinematography I've seen this year. And because I think it's a contender for other categories, the Academy might have a little peek, a little look into After Sun, which has stunning cinematography. Editing. Top Gun Maverick at number 1. I'm sticking to this. It just has, plane fights. Like, what else do you want? Like, it has so much footage interlaced. It keeps the audience engaged to what's happening, and it actually, the editing, like, really, really works because as a viewer, you really know what's going on at all times, even though you're switching back and forth between, like, inside and outside shots and different planes. It's just very effective and very well done, and I totally deserves to win. This Decision to Leave, well, totally deserves to win as in like is a deserving winner. I think, in my opinion, Decision to Leave has the best editing of any movie. It's just like crazy. Like it's some of the best. It's like some of the most inventive and like playful and just amazing editing I've ever seen. Maybe like the best edited movie I've ever seen. Just so amazing. I mean, it's stunning. If you haven't seen Decision to Leave, like please check it out. So good, and the editing is top notch. If it doesn't get nominated, like it'll be one of the most disgusting things I'll ever have seen in the Oscars. So please let this happen. Everything Ever All at Once at number three. This has so much editing, so much going on, and totally deserves to get in. It's an achievement. So yes, please nominate this. Babylon at number four. Tom Cross is a top tier editor. This is a 3 hour long movie with a ton of stuff happening, partying, like crazy shit. So yes, like this is happening. Then All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a war movie, and just by virtue of being a war movie, it has some war editing, and the Academy loves that, and I think it's great. So why not? After Sun was number six. Some of the most purposeful and touching editing choices I saw this year. Just so beautiful, so beautifully done. It's just, the movie works because of its editing in a lot of ways. So I think it just makes sense to reward this. But it's sitting right outside my top five right now. Tar, really strong Best Picture contender, really strong editing. And then we got, Avatar and Black Panther, two action movies, two long movies. It's gonna have a ton of editing in them. Why not? I see this potentially happening. And then I have a number 10, Banshees. Again, because it's a big contender for other stuff. Original screenplay. All right, here we go. Everything Ever All at Once winning just because, I have it winning picture and I think it has the most creative and imaginative and crazy and bombastic and insane screenplay I can remember. So please have this be nominated for screenplay. It's just an amazing achievement. Babylon, another really strong contender, and I think it's gonna be strong throughout, so it's nominated for me. Banshees of Inisherin, again, strong contender. And the screenplay is really witty and it's really funny. Probably the funniest movie I've seen this year. So why not? Please nominate this. The Fablemans, again, top tier contender. It's Spielberg, sentimental. It has some very strong points, especially towards the back half of the movie. The first half didn't work for me as well, but I think voters will still resonate with it and will still vote for it to be nominated. Tar at number five. I mean, one of the best screenplays of the year. Really provocative. Really just so well crafted, so well done. The way the movie wraps up too is just perfect. And yeah, the Academy is just gonna recognize Todd Field in both directing and screenwriting, in my opinion. Then we got Decision to Leave. What can I say about this amazing screenplay? It's very jam packed with thematic points, but it's also a romance and also a mystery. It's just very dense and great in every single way, so I love it. After Sun has a very subtle screenplay, but it's so effective. The way the movie is constructed has a lot to do with the screenplay. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I would love it. So yeah, I have it at number seven. After Yang is a movie that I think might get some consideration here. It got a Gotham nomination, which I know doesn't say too much, but it's a very clever movie and it's very thought provoking. And if the Academy was going to recognize it anywhere, it'd probably be in the screenplay category. Triangle of Sadness at number nine, really funny, kind of twisted satire. It's great. I think totally deserves it. And Bros at number 10, one of the funniest movies of the year. Brilliant gay rom com, kind of breaking barriers in the industry. So, yeah, totally a great film. And I'm sad the box office wasn't great for it. That's probably why I have it so low, but it's still a great screenplay. All right, adapt screenplay. I'm gonna keep Women Talking at number one for now, but watch out for this because I think Pinocchio might be coming for it. Pinocchio is gonna win animated feature, and if it's a strong contender, if it makes Best Picture, it could be I think Ratatouille won screenplay back in the day, so it can be one of those movies, one of those animated movies that wins screenplay. And yeah, why not? If it's as amazing as and touching as people have mentioned it being, then I mean it totally makes sense to me. Women Talking again isn't my favorite movie of the year, although again I will have to rewatch it because I was very tired when I saw it. But it has a lot of support in that category, and the category is kind of weak. So I think it's between those two movies really at this point. Glass Onion at number three. Again, really excellent screenplay. I've talked about this in some previous videos, but I think the screenplay is just so witty and so smart, and I love it. The Whale, It's a weaker category, and this is a personal story from the screenwriter. He did like the play that this movie is based on. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a strong pick in my opinion. And then we got She Said, which is kind of sitting outside my consideration. Really, I don't think this movie's gonna get a ton of awards buzz, but I think screenplay might be like the one thing it gets. All Quiet on the Western Front, adapted from a masterpiece of a book, and it's a great adaptation. Then we get The Batman, which is another like great iteration of the Batman. One of the best in my opinion. Black Panther 2, which apparently it's very good. People have seen it already, and they say it's very good. Top Gun Maverick, top tier contender, and Avatar: The Way of the Water, which is James Cameron might be a great sequel. Who knows? I mean, the adapted category is a little bit weaker, and with the sun kind of dissipating into nothingness because people hate that screenplay, I think Avatar has a decent chance. Production design, we got Babylon, crazy parties, crazy sets, like Jesus. Like this movie has like an over $100 million budget, and they kind of went all out. It's very loud, it's very bombastic. The production design looks effective and looks like it's screaming like give me a win right now. So yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front, war movie, and the production design is really well done. You really feel like you're in the trenches with these people. So nomination. Glass Onion has some great modern production design that I would love to see get in. So what's another one of my picks. Del Toro's Pinocchio is stop motion, and it has for that reason some like great stop motion production design going on. And this is something that I think people would just love to see. Would love to see this animated movie just racking up a bunch of below the line nominations. So yeah, that'd be great. The Fablemans at number 5. It's a Spielberg movie, and it's a period piece. It's not a really flashy production design, but I think it's very effective, services the story, and it's good. So yep, getting in. Avatar 2, I think is right on the edge for me. It's a digital word, so it's a digital world, so I don't know how to look at it, but I know it still will be considered for production design. I'm just not 100% there yet, but yeah, it's very strong. Then we got Bardo, Decision to Leave, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Tar. I'm not gonna go into these in much detail, but they all have strong production design. Animated feature. I'll go through this quickly because I think the winner seems pretty clear at this point. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is winning, no question. Turning Red, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, two movies that I think are pretty strong. I really love Marcel the Shell. I really like Turning Red. My Father's Dragon I haven't seen, but some reactions have come out of it. Some of my subscribers have mentioned that this is a cartoon saloon movie before I didn't have my eye on. Now I do. It has some strong reactions so far. It's a Netflix movie. I think even though they're pushing some other movies, this will get in just because it's like again I've looked into Cartoon Saloon's record at the Oscars and it's very strong, and this looks like another strong movie from them. Strange World, might be another one of Disney's picks since Lightyear is kind of lower down in my picks. Wendell Wild just didn't hit with the critics. People are saying it's kind of messy, even though the animation's like stunning. The screenplay is just kind of a mess. So yeah, Apollo 10.5. I don't think it's happening. Eternal Spring, that movie just kind of disappeared from my like it just like never showed up. I thought this was gonna kind of be like a big movie from the festivals, and I just haven't heard anything about it. And then The Bad Guys, which it's a movie. It's a movie that was pretty solid. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but I think out of the other animated picks that I might have considered, it seems like the strongest one. Best makeup and hair, The Whale winning, no question about it. Brendan Fraser is covered in like prosthetics and a bodysuit, and it just looks so perfect. Like the team that worked on it, like was so effective at creating this image, and they really stayed true to they didn't exaggerate it. They made it really realistic, I think. So yeah, I think it's just gonna get rewarded for this. Babylon, a lot of makeup happening. So yeah, probably Everything Everywhere. Joe Tapake, the Batman, has makeup going on for Colin Farrell's character, the Penguin. So that's pretty big. All Quiet on the Western Front has a lot of blood and gore and dirt and stuff. So yep. Elvis has Tom Hanks, which has some prosthetics on him, and then Elvis also has some makeup on. Black Panther 2, self-explanatory. White Noise has like some wacky hairstyles going on, And then Pearl and the Northmen have like makeup going on for like blood and gore and that kind of stuff. Costumes. Babylon number one. Easy again, period piece. We've seen the costumes in the trailer. It looks like they're going all out for a kind of extravagant roaring 20s party. So yeah, this just seems like Babylon just seems like a tech sweep if I've ever seen one. Like it's gonna take a lot of these categories. So costumes, I think it's kind of a no brainer. Joe Tabake for Everything Ever All at Once kind of costumes. Black Panther 2. Black Panther always has like stunning costume design. I think it might have won for the first one. Elvis, he wears a lot of clothes in the movie. The Fablemans, again, period piece stuff. So yeah, Glass Onion. I think the outfits are cool and interesting, and it just makes sense to me. All Quiet, the uniforms, I guess, is if it's period accurate. The Batman has the bat suit and a bunch of other costumes for the different wacky characters going on. White Noise has like some period piece costumes, and then I have Blonde, I guess, at number 10, but I'm not very convinced about this. It's just kind of the recreation of Marilyn Monroe's outfits, but the movie's so weak that yeah, this is probably not happening. Documentary, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed stays at number one for me. It missed a nomination at a documentary like Guild Award. I'm not sure what the award name is, but it missed a nomination, which was kind of odd. But it's still, the most acclaimed documentary of the year. It won the Golden Lion at Venice. It just seems really strong. Navalny, it's about Alexei Navalny. It's kind of relevant for the Russian-Ukrainian conflict that's going on right now. So yeah, strong pick. Fire of Love has kind of stayed strong throughout the season, so I see this happening. The Volcano Love movie. The Territory has kind of picked up in my radar. I've seen some awards pundits kind of really talk highly about this movie, and it seems like it's getting some traction, it's getting some nominations for stuff, so it's up there for me. Descendant, a Netflix movie, is also very strong. All That Breeds, a foreign documentary about dying birds, I think, in India, and people have seen it, have said it's very good. Moon Age Daydream is obviously the David Bowie documentary. It's right outside my picks right now, but again, strong pick. Senior is a movie that I'm really interested in seeing because some of my favorite, awards pundits have been really hyping this movie up, and it's about Robert Downey Jr.'s father, kind of remembering him and his legacy. And this movie obviously was made while he was alive, and he has since passed. It it just seems like a really touching personal story from what I've heard from people. So I'm curious to see this one. And then we have Goodnight Oppie and Icarus: The Aftermath rounding out the picks. International feature. I've switched this around, but because I've switched this in picture as well, I think Decision to Leave is going to be my number one right now. I just think it's such an unimpeachable, amazing movie that it should be rewarded, I think, no matter what. All Quiet on the Western Front is amazing, and I think it totally deserves it as well. And Close, I've seen some positive and some mixed reactions to it. It's an A24 movie, though, and it's tearjerker, like really emotionally powerful from what I've heard, so maybe it gets in. I'm not counting it out. Bardo at number four. I've raised this up because I think the Academy has a lot of respect for Inuritu, and the new cut of Bardo seems to be playing slightly better than the old cut. It's gotten some pretty good reactions on Letterboxd from the people who've seen it in Mexico, I believe, where it's kind of released. Yeah, I just think the movie has picked up quite a bit since I last did Oscar predictions, but I still think there's a chance to miss this out. Say No More from France is my number five. Then I have Quiet Girl from Ireland, which I've heard great things about. It's played in some smaller film festivals, and it's gotten some glowing reactions. Holy Spider from Denmark, Corsage, Argentina in 1985, and then EO, the movie on the donkey, which is apparently great. Haven't seen these movies, but very much looking forward to seeing them once they're available to stream or they drop in a cinema near me. So looking forward to seeing these. Best score, Babylon at number one. I just have a lot of belief in Justin Hurwitz, and I know he's gonna knock it out of the park. And I just hearing the trailer, again, I know this is like 2 minutes of a trailer, but yeah, can you tell me that music is not like Oscar winning material? It's just great. The Batman at number two. Michael Giacchino's score is undeniable. One of the most memorable scores of the year, if not the most memorable. So yeah, it's happening. Decision to Leave has an amazing score. It's really sticking in my head since I saw the movie, so I would love to see it happen. We've Been Talking is another score that's been talked about a lot. People love it, so I think it's happening. The Fablemans is John Williams, somebody who gets nominated like every time he like does anything. He can do like a ninth Star Wars movie and still get nominated for it. So yeah, John Williams I think gets in for this. All Quiet on the Western Front, amazing score. The Whale has really, ever present score throughout the movie, and it's very important, I think, to the emotional crescendo of it. And I like it quite a lot, so I would love to see this, but it's sitting right outside for me right now. I actually love the Empire of Light score, and I think it's one of the strongest things about the movie, so I would love to see it happen. I have it in here. Avatar 2, the score seems kind of beautiful, from the trailers I've seen. So I'm hoping it lives up, and yeah, I don't think why not. And Black Panther 2, I think the first one got a nomination for score, and it seems like this one might as well. So keep my eye on those. Sound. We got Top Gun Maverick at number one. I don't have to explain myself here. Jets, flying jets. Babylon, partying. All Quiet on the Western Front, war. The Batman uh, action movie, Everything Ever All at Once, action movie with like a lot of very smart utilization of sound. The Fableman's top tier contender, Avatar 2, blockbuster action movie. Nope, amazing sound design. Black Panther 2, action movie. Elvis, musical, kind of crazy, bombastic movie. So yeah, those are my reasons for it. Then we got original song, which I hadn't done before. I'm sorry, I apologize to the people who have been complaining about me not having original song in here, but here it is. I have Hold My Hand at number one still from Top Gun Maverick. I just think the movie is really strong, and the song just stayed on the radio and on my head for the longest time. I think the only real competitor here is Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever from Rihanna. The song has dropped on Spotify, and I like it quite a lot. I don't like it as much as Hold My Hand, but I think once I see the movie, I might have like resonate even more with Lift Me Up, because I think it obviously Black Panther Wakanda Forever is an emotional movie, and this is gonna be an emotional song kind of attached to that. Not to from RRR. I think this might be the only RRR nomination. This might be where the Academy recognizes it. Maybe it gets into other places, but because it's not being submitted by India, it's kind of difficult for it to sneak in elsewhere. But I think the Academy will give it some recognition, and this is probably the place where it will happen if it does. Nobody Like You from Turning Red. This is a Billie Eilish song with Phineas. Yeah, I think this is happening. Then Ciao Papa. I just chose one song from Pinocchio. This is kind of like the one that's kind of been talked about, I guess, the most. Pinocchio's like a semi-musical, so I'm assuming if it's a strong contender, like one song from it gets in. I have Ciao Papa as my nominee, but it could be another song. Then we got New Buddy Roomba from White Noise. This is like the LCD sound system song that plays at the end credits. I heard this is great, and I heard it like provides like the backdrop for one of the best sequences in the whole movie. So yeah, why not? Stand Up from Till, emotional movie, emotional song. I Ain't Worried from Top Gun Maverick. This is another Top Gun Maverick song I like quite a lot. I really, really like this song, so it's a decent pick for a nomination. We got Carolina for Where the Crawdads Sing. This is a movie that was pretty critically panned, but it's a Taylor Swift song, so never ruled that out. And then we got the song chord from Avatar: The Way of the Water, another huge movie, and this is an original song, so I mean it might sneak in. We'll see. And then to finish off my predictions, we got VFX with maybe the easiest winner of all time, which is Avatar 2. It's winning. Like, I will bet all my money. I will bet every single cent I have in my bank account to make like $10 if Avatar wins, because it's so obvious it's going to win. Pinocchio from Guillermo del Toro is a very, very strong pick here. We got Everything Everywhere All at Once, who has a small VFX team that like kind of worked wonders and made this movie work with like a ton of like really cool visuals. The Batman, it's a superhero movie with like really great and seamless VFX. Black Panther 2, I've heard the VFX are a lot better than the first movie, so this probably gets in for Marvel. All Quiet on the Western Front has some really, really great VFX. I think similar to 1917, kind of blending in, the real things with the virtual effects. Kind of makes the movie work a lot. So I would love to see this happen. Decision to Leave actually uses a ton more virtual effects than people have, probably people know. There's been some footage released of some of the behind the scenes, like production of like how they use VFX in the movie, and it's really quite stunning. Like you really can't tell in the movie, and yeah, it would totally deserve a nomination. Then Top Gun Maverick, I just don't think that they use a lot of effects. They use like some towards the final battle sequence, but yeah, the movie's mostly practical. Although I think the fact that they were able to blend in those VFX with the mostly practical aspects of the movie, really makes it stand out. And then we got Doctor Strange 2 and Thor 4, movies that I think have like pretty mid to bad VFX, but I can't really think of much else running on this list. So yeah. All right, so there are my picks for the Oscars. Again, this is just what I think the Academy is probably gonna do. It has obviously, like any other list out there, a little bit of personal bias kind of mixed into it, but I really try to stay true to what I think the Academy is gonna do. Towards the end of the year, I'm gonna put up my personal list of who I would nominate and who I would have win every category. But for now, this is what I have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If I missed anything, if you agree or disagree with anything, just please let me know. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment, engage with the content if you enjoyed it, and yeah, really appreciate your support. And as always, peace.